Christian Kirk, who newly signed Christian Kirk, coming over from the Arizona Cardinals. Wide receiver 26, 77 receptions, 103 targets, 982 yards, 5 touchdowns, saw 18% of the target share out there in Arizona. Guys, what are your thoughts on Christian Kirk?
I'm not a big fan on Christian Kirk, right? And this really doesn't have anything to do with the what I would perceive as a silly deal that the Jaguars gave him, but just he's not wide receiver one material, right? Like he's not an X. He's more of a Y, can play a little bit in the Z, like that type of thing. So I see Christian Kirk as a probably a wide receiver 3 overall. I mean, if he sees an increase in volume, maybe he creeps up into that very back end of wide receiver 2 territory. But um, he is a guy that I would have to see tremendous value on the draft board to be taking a flyer on him. Otherwise, I'm going to go to offenses that are probably a little bit more complete, maybe that I trust the quarterback and the system behind that quarterback a little bit more. So for me, Christian Kirk is going to be almost an overall pass unless I see significant value to grab him.
Let me pose it to you this way. He's sitting there at the end of the 9th, beginning of the 10th round. Are you taking a flyer on him then?
Well, it just depends on what else is on the board there, right? Like,
Yeah.
If guys that we're going to be talking about, right? If Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to go before that, so it's not him, but that next guy, right? That next rookie who has David Bell. Okay, David Bell. If he's on there, I would take David Bell with Deshaun Watson, if that's kind of where the draft board falls, over Christian Kirk with Trevor Lawrence at this point in time. And I would, both sides you're taking a risk, right? It's the passing volume, maybe it's the accuracy of Lawrence, not really quite understanding how they're going to gel, versus the potential looming suspension of Deshaun Watson, and that may or may not take effect here this year, right? So that's kind of where I would sit in that format.
Here's the curious part about Christian Kirk is that there were plenty of wide receiver options that the Eagles could have had, or excuse me, not the Eagles, that the Jaguars could have had, and yet they chose Christian Kirk. They went after him, and they went and got Christian Kirk. Doug Peterson had a say in that. The new GM had a say in that. So why did they go and pick Christian Kirk? Why did they throw all this money at Christian Kirk? And I can't figure it out, but I do know that Doug Peterson is smarter at football than I am. And so I tend to think that maybe he's got a plan. Maybe he sees something that we haven't seen. Maybe it was just too crowded in Arizona and DeAndre Hopkins was too much of a focal point. And Kyler Murray doesn't know how to spread the football around. Maybe they see something that we don't. Maybe Jacksonville is going to be down so many games that they need somebody that can go and get them a 60-yard chunk play. Maybe that's what they were looking at, that they kind of understand who they are right now, and they need somebody that they can trust to go get them some yards late in the game when maybe the game doesn't even matter, but they're still just trying to save face. So I'm trying to convince myself into the reasons why Christian Kirk is a good idea. I think because Jacksonville thinks that, maybe they won't be competitive in a lot of games. And so they're going to be throwing the football a lot late. They're going to see what they've got in Trevor Lawrence while Trevor Lawrence is still cheap, try to figure some things out, try to experiment again, because this team is not ready this year. This is not a playoff team. They're maybe a couple years down the road, but it's not right now. Maybe by my Trevor Lawrence's 4th or 5th year, when they have the option on him, that's when they make their run. But I can't figure out why they went and did this to go get Christian Kirk. So for those reasons, I'm intrigued by Christian Kirk.
It still doesn't make sense to me as how they've constructed this wide receiver room from the standpoint. Marvin Jones, a deep threat guy. Christian Kirk's more of a deep threat chunk play kind of guy. And then you got Laviska Shenault that's going to just kind of, do whatever and get 3 yards off the line of scrimmage to try and catch passes there. I could see some value for Christian Kirk here. 10th round, if that's where he's going, I'll take a flyer on him there. I think that you'll be able to get some boom bust type of potential because that's what he's going to be. He's going to be a boom bust. The problem with him is going to be when do you put him into your lineup, and are you going to be happy that you put him in the lineup, or is he going to burn you on that one? Because he can deliver you a wide receiver, 4 or 5 on the week, but he can also deliver you wide receiver, 100 on the week. And those are the type of variances that you can do. So it is very much a buyer beware, and you're taking boom bust player that actually would work perfect for a best ball scenario. Like that's where I'm probably looking to draft him more so as in a best ball format over a redraft